Alright, who isn't already sick and tired of this flying meta? Are you constantly getting blasted from above? Do you feel helpless when Iron Man and Human Torch or most recently Ultron rain down fire? You're not alone. By the end of this video, you'll have the definitive guide to shut down the flying meta and Marvel rivals and turn those defeats into victories. What's good, gang? Today, we're dissecting the aerial menace plaguing Marvel rivals known as the flying meta. It's a strategy where teams heavily leverage heroes like Iron Man, Storm, Human Torch, who can maintain higher ground and deal consistent damage from above. We've seen games with 3, even 4 flying heroes on the same enemy team, and it's just not a fun experience when you can't hit them back. Understanding why this meta is so strong, primarily due to the current lack of flying Vanguard to directly counter their output, is the first step to mastering it. This guide is crucial for any player looking to genuinely improve and climb the ranks, or just have a good time. So, to truly master this strategy, you'll need a few things in your arsenal. First, a solid understanding of core game mechanics like character roles, map layouts, and the basics of line of sight. Second, you'll want to have a decent mechanical aim, especially tracking, as those flyers are very fast targets. Third, and critically, a strong mental game. Composure under pressure is key. Panic leads to mistakes. And finally, a willingness to adapt your hero picks and strategies, even if it's outside your comfort zone, because adaptability is how you win in a changing meta. Alright, let's dive into the 5 core tips that will empower you to dominate the flying meta. Tip number 1 is going to be own the high ground. Controlling elevated positions is non-negotiable. Many ground-based vanguards like Hulk or Magneto have limited range or slow projectiles. By taking high ground, you dramatically reduce the distance to flying enemies, making your attacks more consistent and effective. A lot of data right now is showing a strong correlation between high ground use and anti-air success, especially on convoy maps. So get a little closer to your enemies by taking the high ground and being in a good position. That way you can hit more shots than you were if you were on the ground level. Alright, tip number 2, counter with your own flyers. A direct counter can be effective. Use your own flying heroes to engage them in aerial combat. However, caution though. Don't force it if you're not proficient. Picking a hero we don't know well against a specialist will lead to frustration and defeat. If you're looking for an easier flying hero to learn, Ultron is recommended. His primary damage is solid and his healing is straightforward. With the new way that Ultron shoots now as well, it is a lot easier for him to just take out enemies while he doesn't really have to focus so much on trying to heal, so you can actually break apart what you need to do with Ultron in order to be effective. Alright, tip number 3, strategic hero selection is paramount. Your team composition is your strongest counter. You need heroes who can either directly inflict significant damage on airborne targets or provide crucial protection and crowd control. For DPS, Hawkeye is currently the single most potent counter. He can take out flyers in 1 or 2 shots, especially with Luna Snow's team up, but he requires great aim. Hela is also strong, thanks to her ammo buff, offering consistent damage and a forgiving secondary. Punisher as well is the easiest to use, with strong consistent fire, turrets, his ultimate, and even a zip line for high ground access. For Vanguards, this is the toughest role. Most Vanguards are melee and most obsolete against flyers. Your best bet are Vanguards with wall abilities like Doctor Strange, Emma Frost, Groot, and Magneto. Their role is protection. You need to keep those shields up 90% of the time to block incoming damage. If you know that you don't have great aim, I would suggest going with a character that has a shield. That way you can at least help your teammates block incoming damage. For strategists, these heroes should be your primary focus for taking out flyers. Luna Snow is absolutely insane at it, and Rocket as well. Jeff is a good one too, in my opinion, because Jeff, when you play DPS Jeff, is just like, it's so serious, especially with his rework now where his, I forgot the name of that move, but it can not only do healing, but it can also do damage to the enemy as well, which is something I asked about when I first tried to play Jeff. I was like, why doesn't this do any damage? I don't want to play him anymore. So I just gave up. Also, Invisible Woman has great CC to ground flyers with her bubbles, and Cloak and Dagger can hit enemies behind cover with dagger attacks. So it's not like we're limited to people who can take out flyers. It's just harder and frustrating because it requires either a lot of skill or mechanical aim for you to do damage and be effective. But this is all a part of working on the game and getting better. All right, tip number 4, master the art of cover. Always play near cover as much as possible. Your Vanguard shields aren't infinite. Players who actively use cover minimize incoming damage. Flyers won't have as much cover as you on the ground. Use it to your advantage. Peek out to shoot, then retreat. We spoke a lot about this in my positioning guide, so if you haven't already, I suggest you check it out if you want to level up your gameplay. And last but not least is tip number 5, disrupt. You don't always have to get a kill. This is a crucial mindset. You don't always need to get the final kill on a flying character. Your goal is to do enough damage to make them either reposition or get back to get healed. It's currently harder to heal flying heroes as only Ultron can easily heal airborne targets. Forcing them out of their position is a victory in itself. When you force an enemy to leave their position or just exit the fight for a quick second to go get heals or find a health pack, you instantly create an outnumbered match for your team. So let's say it's the beginning of the match and you just somehow force their flyer to leave the match really quick. Well, now it's a 6v5. This is where you take advantage of the outnumber and just do what you need to do in order to capitalize off the situation. So keep that in mind. But even with the best tips, common mistakes can occur. Here are a few and how to fix them. Mistake number 1 will be getting isolated. Flying heroes excel at picking off lone targets, so I would suggest maintain composure and stick close to your team or cover. Avoid overextending. A lot of us do this all the time. Do not overextend with these flying characters. You will get picked off. Mistake number 2 will be poor aim. Constantly missing shots on agile flyers. I would suggest do specific aim drills, focusing on tracking and flicking moving targets in the practice range. You don't want to go out there cold thumbs, no warm-ups, trying to hit these fast flying characters that are just a complete distance away from you to the point where your character may not even be as effective as you think. This is all about being in your range. If you don't understand what that means, check out my guide on the channel about positioning and you will love it. I promise. All right, moving on to mistake number 3, it would have to be ignoring cover. Standing in the open and getting melted. I suggest always play near cover. Use it to break line of sight and re-engage on your terms. Stop trying to fight the enemy's fight. Using natural cover will always allow you to fight whenever you feel like it, unless your opponent is just super aggressive. Then there's just nothing you can do about it. If they want to go head first while you're around cover, then hey, that's on them. They're either falling for a trap or they know what they're doing and you just seem weak. But most of the time, hiding behind natural cover and just distracting your enemy, they'll either continue to try and shoot you and fight you even though you're playing natural cover and miss the whole game that's going on around them, or they're just going to move on, giving you time to just re-engage whenever you feel like it. This is a simple trick that everyone should be using. And mistake number 4 would be chasing kills. Overcommitting to getting an elimination on a retreating flyer. My solution to that will be to remember tip number 5. Damage to just lodge is often enough. Forcing them to retreat provides valuable space, so do not overextend for the kill. You don't always have to try to get the kill because that's how you always end up in bad situations. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get your kills. What I'm saying is if you're having a hard time hitting them as it is, but you did damage them enough to the point where they're retreating, but you are having a hard time, don't try to just keep going after the kill, because there's going to be a teammate of theirs that notices them retreating or notices that you're fighting them, and since you're trying so hard to kill them and you may be low as well, or you just might be overextending, they'll just pick you off and take you out. You have to be careful about this. Try to remember this. So there you have it, a simple guide to countering the flying meta and Marvel rivals by owning the high ground, making smart hero selections, mastering your use of cover, and understanding that tactical disruption is often as good as a kill. You will consistently shut down aerial threats. Apply these techniques in your gameplay and you'll see a dramatic improvement in your performance against these challenging compositions. Until we get that flying Vanguard we've been asking for, like War Machine or maybe Silver Surfer. This is how you adapt and win. Let me know who you think is going to be. But for now, it's your turn. Go into Marvel Rivals and put these strategies to the test and let me know in the comments below which tip helped you the most. And if you want more tips and tricks to dominate Marvel Rivals, click on the video right here for my positioning guide. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.